Order, Madam Speaker. Order, please. Order, Madam Speaker. Order, please.
Ngicela sithathe umzuzwana sikhuleke buthule. Amen. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, honorable members. Those with time to measure a millisecond, I love you. I will now go to item number 2, which is obituaries. Honorable members, since our last sitting, the Office of the Speaker has learned of the passing on of some of our brothers, sisters, and significant others. While no words can ever erase the pain family members feel during their time of grief and sorrow, it is our hope that the passage of time may make the sad loss that they have suffered more bearable. We want to mention the following persons in particular: Mr. Lunga Sanele Twala, the son of Ms. Sizakele Mjali, a staff member in the finance section of the legislature; Mr. Spiwe Mkonza, former Kaizer Chiefs and Bloemfontein Celtic defender and a TV analyst for football. Mr. Mkonza began his career at the now defunct Bloemfontein Celtic Football Club and turned out for Ria Stars and Lamontville Golden Arrows before joining Kaizer Chiefs in 2004. After leaving the mighty Amakosi in 2007, Mkonza played for SuperSport United, Maritzburg United, Amazulu, and Black Leopards. At the time of his passing, he was an analyst on SABC and has been for a number of years. Following his retirement from the active football playing career. All victims of gender-based violence, femicide, and hate crimes, public servants and traditional leaders from this province and the whole country, the victims of road fatalities in our province that may have passed on, and also at a national level since our last sitting. Honorable members, we also note all those that may not be mentioned here, and it is for that reason that we request you to now stand to observe a moment of silence to honor them. May their souls rest in peace. Honorable members, we now moving to item 3.1, which is apologies. The first apology is for the Honorable Mr. R.T. Mthembu, the Deputy Speaker, who's attending a pension fund board meeting in Cape Town representing the KwaZulu-Natal legislature. The following members will not be attending due to party commitments: the Honorable P. Govender, Honorable N. Gubane, Honorable S.E. Manqele, and the Honorable C.M. Shinga. We have the Honorable M.E. Pakati, who is not well, so we request that we also remember him in our own prayers. Honorable members, I have the pleasure of introducing a new member who was sworn in this morning, Thursday, the 7th of March, 2024, at the Speaker's boardroom. The new honorable member who replaces the former member, Ms. S. Hussein, who resigned on the 19th of February, 2024, on Reverend Zondi's birthday. The new member is the Honorable Ms. Riona Gaukal from the DA component. Stand up, Honorable Member, for members to see you. Welcome. Honorable members, we now move to birthdays. Today, the 7th of March, is the birthday of the Honorable Umntwana Uzbuyisile WaKwaZulu, who is the chairperson of the PPP Portfolios Committee. May we take this opportunity to wish you all the happiness this life can offer, Ndaba. Uhlala umude unjalo. I would also like to wish happy birthdays in advance to the following members: the Honorable Lucas Meyer, who is born on the 11th of March; the Honorable Dr. Imran Kika on the 12th of March, when we will be having a special sitting; the Honorable TV Kulu on the 29th of March. May you all have a wonderful year ahead of you. Another announcement goes to the members of the Portfolio Committee on Finance. You honorable members, you are kindly informed that there will be a finance budget briefing for all committees in the chamber today, immediately after members have had their lunch. All members will remain, but more specifically, if you are a member of the Finance Committee, honorable members, as you know, South Africans celebrate March as Human Rights Month. It goes back to the 21st of March, 1960, a day on which many South Africans engaged in various defiance campaigns against the iniquitous past laws that used to be on the statute book of this country. During the month of March, we highlight and celebrate all the civil liberties we currently enjoy. For instance, the universal suffrage and various other human rights that are outlined in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa and the United Nations Documentation on Civil Liberties and Human Rights. May we all enjoy our human rights in a non-discriminative, no hate, and ensuring that there's always justice for all. Honorable members, you are invited by the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Ms. Nomsa Dube-Ncube, together with the members of her Executive Council, to attend the International Women's Day celebration to be held on Friday, the 8th of March, 2024, starting at 9 o'clock at the Dalsy September Conference Center at Jude Campus in eThekwini. Now, we will move to item number 4, announcements or reports by the Premier, which is the time that we give to you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, Leader of Government Business, Honorable Ntombeni, and all members of the Executive Council. Honorable Speaker, we wish to make the following announcements. That tomorrow we are going to celebrate the International Women's Day at the University of KwaZulu-Natal at the Edgewood campus, Pinetown, under the theme Inspire Inclusion. Celebrating International Women's Day provides an opportunity to recognize and honor the remarkable contributions of women in various fields, from politics and education, healthcare, business. Women in KwaZulu-Natal have played a pivotal role in shaping the province's progress. Since 1995, International Women's Day has been celebrated to acknowledge the critical role women play during and after colonial apartheid era. The day showcased women's courage, resilience, and commitment to continue to inspire generations. International Women's Day tomorrow will focus on empowering young women in women in leadership positions within the public and private sector, academic services. By fostering mentorship, skills development, and networking, it will pave the way for more women to take charge and influence policy decisions. The day's discussions will deliberate on equipping women with digital literacy, ensuring they can participate actively in evolving technological environment. Sadly, gender-based violence remains a pressing issue in South Africa, KZN, and in the globe. International Women's Day will serve as a platform to raise awareness about violence against women, advocate for prevention strategies, and empower women to address sexual harassment in the workplace. Celebrating International Women's Day in KwaZulu-Natal about acknowledging the past, empowering the present, and shaping a more equitable future for all. Honorable members, next week on the 12th of March, the whole of KwaZulu-Natal and the country of South Africa will commemorate the day that His Majesty the King Zwelithini Kabheka Zulu ascended to the realm of ancestors. The day will mark 3 years since the kings joined the palace of his ancestors. As we remember our late King Zwelithini, we thank the Almighty and the Lord and long line of our royals for guiding our nation throughout the recent trials and tribulation. As we march towards the celebration of the 30 years of democracy, which will usher the national and provincial elections, we are going to remember uBhejane Phumesiqhiwini as a monarch who revered peace and prosperity. Our matric class of 2022-2023 posthumously paid a fitting tribute to the king who loved education and progress by attaining an 86% pass rate, which propelled the province to the second spot nationally ahead of Gauteng and Western Cape. The king never dies. Long live our king. Wena wesilo. Honorable members, the 110th commemoration of King Dinizulu kaCetshwayo is a momentous occasion in KwaZulu-Natal. This revered Zulu monarch left an indelible mark in our history, and his legacy continues to inspire generations. On Tuesday, March 5, 2024, a wreath-laying ceremony took place at the old Pietermaritzburg prison, which has now been turned into a museum where King Dinizulu was once incarcerated. The Premier was accompanied by the dignitaries Amabuto, MEC Dr. Mahlaba, paid tribute to the late king who gallantly fought against colonialism. Another wreath-laying ceremony will take place in Durban City Centre, where King Dinizulu's statues stand. King Dinizulu's 110th commemoration will take place on the 16th of March in KwaXeza Sports Field. This location holds a historical significance as it was where the King Dinizulu launched his final and decisive attack against colonialists. It was a battle fought near Nongoma where he emerged victorious. The KwaZulu-Natal government acknowledges the royal family's guidance during this significant event. Let us honor King Dinizulu's courage, his vision, unwavering commitment to the people of this land. The last one, honorable members, is that in KwaZulu-Natal, the MEC for Health has further issued information about the pink eye that has become a serious cause for concern in 2024. Pink eye is a highly contagious disease. According to the Department of Health, the number of pink eye cases has increased from 161 to 1,044 between February 29 to March the 3rd. Most of these cases, more than 700, have been reported in eThekwini district. Good personal hygiene is crucial in preventing the spread of pink eye. Recommendation includes regular hand washing. Thank you to the legislature for providing us with the sanitizers. Regular hand washing, avoiding the sharing of face cloth, eye cosmetics, and pillows. It is important to seek medical help immediately when experiencing pink eye symbols. Health education and awareness. We applaud the Department of Health under the leadership of Honorable Nomagugu Smelane for actively educating us and the public about the pink eye. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Ngalale philweni Lord.
Honorable members, we will now move to item 5, which is tabling of reports or papers. We have not recorded any tablings today, and therefore we will not have tablings. And we will then move to item number 6, which is formal motions or notices by the Chief Whip. We therefore give this opportunity to the Honorable Chief Whip.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier and honorable members. I must say that there are no formal motions and notices from the Office of the Chief Whip. Thank you.
Thank you, Mkatwa. Honorable members, as we announced, the main order of today is the budget speech that will be tabled by the Honorable MEC for Finance in KwaZulu-Natal, Ms. Neliswa Peggy Nkonyeni. I therefore give you this opportunity, Madam MEC, to take the podium.
All right. Honorable Speaker, Ms. Nontembeko Boys, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Mr. Themba Mthembu, Honorable Premier of the Province of KwaZulu-Natal, Ms. Nomusa Dube, the Leader of Government Business, Honorable Duma, ANC Provincial Secretary, Mr. Bheki Mtolo, and all the Provincial Executive Committee members, the members of the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Executive Council, honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, members of the Diplomatic Corps, chairperson of the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial House of Traditional Leaders and Khoisan leaders in Kosushinga, all traditional leaders, Director General Dr. Nonhlanhla Mkhize, our head of department, Ms. Carol Kutie, all heads of departments and senior managers, CEOs of public entities, the people of KwaZulu-Natal, members of the media, business leaders, and distinguished guests. 30 years ago, the first democratic president of the Republic of South Africa and the African National Congress, His Excellency Dr. Nelson Mandela, took to the podium on his inauguration and committed the country to work together in fighting crime, injustices of the past, and to generally improve the lives of all South Africans. He further committed the government to also fight the triple challenges of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. He therefore uttered the following words of wisdom, quote unquote, "Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another and suffer the indignity of being the skunk of the world." Again today, we are firmly standing here as part of honoring the pledge we took decades ago and to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to making this country a better place than before. Since this government, which is led by the African National Congress, was voted into power, significant achievements have been reported. However, we are aware that a lot still needs to be done as the needs of our people continue to grow. In this year's State of the Nation address, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa highlighted notable achievements by this government in the past 30 years. But most importantly, he gave a clear direction that this government should accelerate the continued efforts to improve the lives of the people. We therefore continue to strive to end poverty, reduce unemployment rate, and fight inequality. Madam Speaker and honorable members, allow me to draw your attention to the key focus areas as outlined by President Ramaphosa, such as to end the persistent energy crisis, restore our economy, fight against crime, improve service delivery, and to build and strengthen our public institutions. This resonates well with the KwaZulu-Natal Premier, Honorable Nomsa Dube-Ngcube's announcements in her State of the Province address last week, particularly on the operationalization of the Provincial Growth and Development Plan and the Provincial Economic Recovery Plan, which both prioritizes the fight against any form of crime in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. The 10 million rand set aside by the provincial departments is one of our direct funding efforts to fight the scourge of crime. The rolling out of infrastructure development programs is the key driver to deepen efforts and to reduce unemployment and poverty and fight inequality. Honorable Speaker, the province of KwaZulu-Natal continues to work hard in revitalizing the economy after the crisis created by the global pandemic, which was COVID-19, the 2021 July unrest, and the tragic, devastating floods in the year 2022, which are exacerbated by the impact of the persistent climate change challenges. The recent floods in Ladysmith are an example of these persisting challenges, which continue to exert significant pressure on our provincial fiscus and budget prioritization. We celebrate the declared expansion of KwaZulu-Natal ports, that is the Durban port and also the Richards Bay port, as a direct response to stimulate our provincial economy, given the significant trade through our ports, thus creating massive job opportunities. However, we will also continue working hard to position our province in order for the people of KwaZulu-Natal to benefit from both the marine and maritime industries. Somlomo ohloniphekile, ukulungiselela ukwethula kwesabelo mali sesifundazwe njengomnyango kaMgcini Mafa siqale sahambela izifunda sinxenxa imibono yabantu ngezidingo zabo nalokho abafisa ukuthi kuqukathwe kulesi sabelo zimali. This helps government to develop a budget that is people-centered, hence addressing people's needs, and to also streamline programs in such a way that they directly respond to their challenges. In the main, various issues that cut across almost all departments are raised with the view to allow the budget process to resolve them, including issues relating to road infrastructure, health-related issues, psychosocial issues, economic recalibration, crime alleviation, education-related issues, housing issues, water and electricity issues. Ubaba umadoda Gamede ohlala ku Ward 16 eMandeni ngaphansi kwesifunda iLembe ukhale ngamahhovisi akwa South African Social Security Agency akhiwe ngendlela eyenza ukuthi kube nzima kakhulukazi ukusetshenziswa abantu abakhubazekile. Njengoba sethula lesabelo zimali sinxenxa iminyango yonke ukuthi ithathele phezulu imbono yabantu ukuze izimpilo zabo zibe ngcono. Somlomo ohloniphekile njengoba besike sasho ukuthi izinkinga ezibhekene nabantu bakithi zicishe zifane. Siphinde sahambela kumasipala waseMzumbe ngaphansi kwesifunda sasoGwini nalapho iningi labantu likhale kakhulu ngokwentuleka kwamanzi kanye nemigwaqo engekho esimene esihle. uThemba Mzobe ohlala ku Ward 11 uthe bacela ukulungiselelwa umgwaqo uD2105 owubhuqu osuka kwaGumbi uye eBangibizo. Yileso sizathu esenza sithi kufanele sibeke eqhulwini izimfuno zabantu kulesabelo imali. Sizokhuluma nomnyango wokuthutha ukuthi ulekelele umphakathi ngalesi sicelo. As part of the global community, our country and our province's economic outlook is shaped by many factors such as the geopolitics, global economic patterns and climate change. However, we are still resolute in our commitments of stabilizing the economy and also to create job opportunities. United in our diversity, we have worked together to circumvent the storm that was caused by the global pandemic. As we continue to join our hands, surely together we can do more. Lenkulumo yesabelo zimali yenzeka enyangeni emqoka kakhulu emlandweni wezwe lakithi njengoba kuyinyanga yokugubha amalungelo abantu. Lokho ukusho ukuthi kufanele siqhubeke nokulwisana nesihlava sobugebengu nokuhlukunyezwa kwabantu besifazane, abantwana, abahlali nabasebenzi basemaplazini kanye noza wethu abakwi LGBTQIA+ sector. Yingakho sithi bonke abantu besifundazwe saKwaZulu-Natal kufanele babe nokuziqhenya nokuzigqaja ngokuba ngabaseningizimu Afrika. Konke lokhu kusemqoka futhi kuzokwenzeka ngokuvikela amalungelo abo. Madam Speaker, in commemoration the International Women's Day in March 1987, Thomas Sankara, the former president of Burkina Faso, profoundly said, I quote unquote, inequality can be done away with only by establishing a new society where men and women will enjoy equal rights. Thus, the status of women will improve only with the elimination of the system that exploits them. Tomorrow, the world will be celebrating the International Women's Day as our Honorable Premier has expressed her wish of celebrating that very important day with all of us in this house. The day designated to the recognition of women for their stature in society. In celebrating women, we are reminded of the struggle that was and continues to be waged by women across the world for a just society. Honorable Speaker, we are proud to remind the people of KwaZulu-Natal that the budget we tabled last year during the 2023-2024 MTF period focused on prioritized budgeting for women as well. In commemoration of the International Women's Day, we recommit ourselves in budgeting in a manner that continues to prioritize women. In other words, this budget will be looked through a gender lens. We therefore encourage all departments and entities to heed this call in order to quantify the impact we have on the vulnerable sectors. Since the dawn of the democracy, our story could best be told through the successes of our own Dintswalos or Enzos that we have produced through various government-funded educational programs such as Trainee Accountant Program spearheaded by the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Treasury. The program has to date benefited 24 trainees, of which 15 of them have now qualified as Chartered Accountants of South Africa. This is indeed a good story to tell, as enhanced financial competencies in the public sector are critical for prudent fiscal management. Madam Speaker, please allow me to introduce to this august house our latest graduates of this program as they rise. I'll start by introducing Halali Silendebele. from Hammersdale. Bongumusa Ngobo from Newcastle. And Lindoguhle Kambula from Tubatuba. Well done, young people who are very proud of you. This program continues to meaningfully contribute towards helping the province to build a more ethical and capable state, whilst also empowering the previously disadvantaged groups. Beneficiaries of the program are young and mostly women. It has further equipped us to continue providing continuous support and oversight to provincial departments, municipalities, and public entities. Madam Speaker, as part of safeguarding our internal systems, we are continuously investing on information, communication, and technology. Partnering with strategic private partners, KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Treasury and other relevant agencies have endeavored to do a sweep of our financial statements and look into our ICT investments in order to identify and remove expenditure that does not actually provide added value, while also optimizing processes to improve efficiency. The main objective is to unlock issues such as elimination of redundancy, streamlining workflows, communication, improvement, and forecasting of changes. The outcome of this exercise is to present a clear view of our ICT's return on investment and benchmark value for money. Stopgap measures will be adopted where findings indicate revenue loss impacting on the fiscus. Honorable Speaker, allow me to table the following documents. The appropriation bill, Honorable Speaker, is tabled formally. The provincial budget speech, Honorable Speaker, is also tabled formally in this House. The estimates of provincial revenue and expenditure, the Green Book, Honorable Speaker, we are tabling the Green Book in this House, and also the estimates of capital expenditure, Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, when appropriated, this bill will give the legal basis for departments and public entities to spend their 2024-2025 budgets. With regards to the global and domestic economic outlook, Madam Speaker, as I table the provincial budget today, the global economic landscape remains a challenge as the growth rate decelerated further to 3.1% last year from 3.5% in 2022. The subdued global economic growth reflects the impact of prolonged supply chain disruptions and tighter monetary policy implemented to contain inflation. While the period of interest rate increases is expected to end this year amid a decreasing inflation rate, global growth remains susceptible to significant downside risks. The risks to the global economic outlook emanate from low global trade growth, weaker than expected growth in China, as well as the possibility of commodity market disruptions should the recent geopolitical conflicts in the Middle East escalate to other regions. Global growth is expected to remain steady at 3.1% this year, before increasing slightly to 3.2% in 2025. Somlomo ohloniphekile amazwe asafufusa njengeNingizimu Afrika asabhekene nezinkinga zomnotho ezihlasela umhlaba wonke. Muva nje amanani enzuzo yemali mboleko anyuke kakhulu kulesi sikhathi uma kuqhathaniswa nesikhathi seminyaka eyishumi edlule. Kuyasijabulisa ukuthi ibhange ngodla lisebenza kanzima ukuzama ukulungisa isimo. The unfavorable global conditions have been compounded by domestic structural challenges that continue to severely limit the country's growth potential. In 2023, the national economy expanded slightly by 0.6% due to persistent power outages alongside ports and rail infrastructure constraints. On a positive note, South Africa's growth is projected to increase marginally to 1.3% this year and 1.6% in 2025, as the energy supply is expected to improve, and with lower inflation encouraging household consumption. The expected easing of load shedding should have a positive impact on corporate turnover, which is therefore expected to have a positive impact on corporate income taxes, thus providing better revenue streams for the fiscus. Improvements in tax revenues over time will allow the country to repay its high debt levels, build better buffers, and thus free up resources to expand critical government programs. Madam Speaker, a significant amount of effort is being put in order to ensure that we improve on our own economic growth and a sustainable fiscal outlook. As outlined by His Excellency, the State President of the Republic of South Africa, through the State of the Nation address, the government is on track to resolving the underpinning constraints on economic growth by stabilizing the energy supply and fixing the logistics system to unleash economic potential. In this regard, the presidency has set out a plan to end load shedding, which has been implemented through the National Energy Crisis Committee. Madam Speaker, equally, this budget announcement is demonstrating the alignment to the President's presidential 6 priorities through our program of economic reconstruction and building a safe and prosperous province of KwaZulu-Natal, namely putting South Africa to work, building our industries for an inclusive economy, tackling the high cost of living, investing in our people, defending democracy and advancing freedom, and building a better Africa in the world. Similarly, as indicated in Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana's speech last month, the country has embarked on a broad structural reform agenda that aims to address the challenges that impede our economic growth. The main focus is to continue with our efforts to stabilize our power supply and improve our logistics capabilities. Minister Godongwana also provided feedback on progress made with regards to the public procurement bill. We expect this bill, once enacted, to contribute to our transformation agenda for the advancement of previously disadvantaged persons. The focus is on small enterprises owned by Black people, with emphasis placed on Black women, Black youth, and Black people with with disabilities. The bill also provides for local industrialization and set-asides, which should make a palpable difference in the economic empowerment of the communities. As a result of all these factors, as well as a sharp reduction in tax revenue because of lower economic growth, mainly due to a decline in corporate taxes and from taxes on mining corporates in the main, National Treasury advised provinces during this budget process that the fiscal consolidation stance will remain in place. This is done mainly to ensure fiscal sustainability and a reduction in our debt burden. Fiscal space is provided through for the protection of our core social services. It is imperative for government now more than ever to ensure that every rand goes an extra mile. Honorable members, similar to other provinces across the country, KwaZulu-Natal is not immune from the setbacks affecting the country, as evidenced by slowing provincial growth. The economic challenges in KwaZulu-Natal are further exacerbated by climate change, which has caused frequent disastrous floods that continue to cause damage to economic infrastructure, as well as leading to a loss of lives. To this end, our provincial economic outlook shows that economic growth increased marginally by 0.7% last year. We, however, expect a moderate expansion of 1.1% this year and 2.3% in 2025, supported largely by the anticipated energy availability. While the projected growth is still below the potential growth of our provincial economy, we remain positive about our steadfast implementation of economic reforms and job creation through focused and interlinked programs such as industrialization, localization, export and investment promotions, amongst others. We also continue to invest in economic infrastructure as part of our unwavering efforts to reconstruct and rehabilitate the provincial economy. Through our massive industrial infrastructure development at the Dube Trade Port and Richards Bay Special Economic Zones, we have created more employment opportunities for our people. Honorable members, the construction activities taking place on the N2 and N3 have also contributed to numerous job opportunities in the province. It is partly through these and other government initiatives that KZN has reported a continuous increase in employment over 8 consecutive quarters since the beginning of 2022 into the final quarter of December 2023, adding a cumulative number of some 375,000 persons employed. Madam Speaker, as alluded earlier, the Port of Durban is a strategic asset of our country and KwaZulu-Natal in particular. We are delighted by the pronouncement made by the President in the SONA about the plans to expand and improve the largest terminal in the country. The improved efficiency in the operation of this port will contribute to the exportation of goods and services. Let me now focus on the provincial budget for the 2024-25 MTF period. The provincial fiscal framework for 2024-25 is as follows. I think you can read for yourselves what is reflected on table 1. The provincial fiscal framework shows the provincial equitable share and conditional grants receiving from National Treasury in aggregate, as well as the amount we anticipate to collect from our provincial own revenue sources and funds allocated in this budget from our own provincial cash resources, which emanate from funds held in our provincial revenue fund for a specific purpose, or where funds were paid into provincial own revenue in the prior year and are being allocated for spending in the budget. Therefore, table 1 reflects on the revised allocation of 150,724,520,000 rands. Regarding the transfers, the transfer receipts from National Treasury, we are reflecting on an amount of 146,541,000,000 rands. Our provincial equitable share is 121,145,053,000 rands. Then conditional grants 25,395,947,000,947,000 rands. Regarding our own provincial own revenue, the amount reflected is 4.1 billion rands, and provincial cash resources 6,660,000. With regards, which then amounts at a total of 150,488,101,000 rands for this current financial year, which is 2024-2025. And with regards to the next financial year, 2025-2026, we are declaring an amount of 155,545,832,000,000 rands. And for the outer year of 2026-2027, we are making a declaration of 161,739,387,000,000 rands. Regarding our contingency reserves, honorable members, we are declaring an amount of 236,419,000 rands for this current financial year, 227,115,000 for the next financial year, and 225,486 for this current financial year. In 2024-2025, the provincial equitable share amounts to 121.1 billion rands, with the amounts allocated over the MTF period as shown above. And then the conditional grant allocation amounts to 25.4 billion, as we have also reflected on that. And then the total amount we receive from National Treasury is thus 146.5 billion rands. And when adding the provincial own revenue and provincial cash resources to this amount, the total revenue that the province has to finance the budget is 150.7 billion rands, as shown in line 1 of the table. Line 2 shows the provincial departments planning to spend 150.5 billion rands in the year 2024-2025. And the final line in the table shows that our contingency reserve is set at that amount, as I have already alluded to that. The bulk of our funding is received from National Treasury in the form of the provincial equitable share, which amounts to 80.4%, and the conditional grant allocation, which amounts to 16.8%, with the balance made up by our provincial own revenue and also provincial cash resources at 2.8% of the total envelope. With regards to the amendments to the provincial equitable share by National Treasury, as indicated, the largest share of our funding is received from in the form of the provincial equitable share, and National Treasury advised provinces to various amendments being made to the provincial equitable share in this budget, and these are incorporated in the fiscal framework. We are very grateful for significant additions being made to the province towards the carried through costs of the 2023 wage agreement. These additions fully cover the costs of the 2023 wage agreement for the social sector departments, namely for the Department of Education and for the Department of Health, and also the Department of Social Development is also covered. The amounts received in this regard are 6.6 billion rands, 6.8 billion and 7 billion rands over the MTF period. We are very grateful for these additions, as the 2023 wage bill exerted considerable pressure on these labor-intensive departments, and we raised this matter at a number of national forums. We are very pleased that our concerns were listened to and that these critical funds were provided to the province. The other departments have had to absorb this cost from within their existing baselines over the MTEF. On the other hand, as indicated by Honorable Minister Godongwana in his budget speech last month, we are not out of the woods yet, and thus the fiscal consolidation stance that started a few years ago is set to continue in this budget. As a result, there are budget cuts, honorable members, made against our equitable share budget over the MTF period. The annual data updates of the provincial equitable share formula have not worked in favor, and as a result, our allocation has been reduced proportionately. With regards to the fiscal consolidation budget cuts implemented by National Treasury, the province loses 4 billion rands, 4.2 billion and 4.3 billion rands over the MTF period. We also lose 334.5 million, 109.2 million rands and 189.5 million rands over the MTF period as a result of the data updates of the provincial equitable share formula. In aggregate, though, there is a net increase in the funds allocated to KwaZulu-Natal's provincial equitable share of 2.3 billion rands to 2.5 billion rands per annum, taking into account the additional funding received for the cost of the 2023 wage agreement in the social sector. The province has taken a decision to effect reductions across the board in order to increase our contingency reserve to around an amount of 225 million to 236 million per annum, mark over the MTF period. The contingency reserve allows us to respond in year when unforeseen circumstances arise. In this regard, we have cut back spending by 132.5 million rands, 103.5 million rands, and 105.4 million rands over the MTF period in order to fund the increase in the contingency reserve. This means that the provincial budget reduces by between 4.4 billion and 4.7 billion in aggregate over the 2024-2025 MTF period. But this cut then is offset by the additions referred to earlier. With respect to the additions made to our provincial equitable share to the carry-through cost of the 2023 wage agreement, the funds were allocated to the social sector proportionately as follows. Education, Department of Education receives an amount of 4.1 billion and of between 4.1 billion and 4.4 billion per annum over the MTF period. Department of Health receives between 2.6 billion and 2.8 billion rands per annum over the MTF period, and Department of Social Development receives between 134 million and 144 million rands per annum over the MTF period. Uma sibuka ukuthi kufanele kwenziwe kanjani ukunciphisa isabelo mali kulonyaka, bekufanele sijule ngoba sesibe neminyaka eminingi yokunciphisa wesabelo zimali, ngakho ke akukho lula ukukwenza kulonyaka wezimali ka2024-2025, ikakhulukazi ngoba isabelo mali sesifundazwe asikho esimene esihle, kodwa ke bengekho singakwenza, ingakho kumele sikwenze kuze kube isimo somnotho siyashintsha. With regards to the provincial equitable share budget cuts, it was decided to effect these budget cuts proportionately against all votes, with the exception of vote 2. Vote 2 is the provincial legislature, who were exempted from the budget cuts. In determining the proportionate cut, we excluded certain cost items from the proportionate calculation. In this regard, given the underfunded property rates and the significant impact as a result thereof on service delivery and municipalities, this line item was excluded when calculating the proportionate budget cuts for the Department of Public Works. The budget cuts are significant, and departments were required to review the targets that they have set for themselves in the 2024-2025 annual performance plans to fall in line with their amended budget. All departments had to revisit their budgets and prioritize the programs and projects they will be rolling out over the MTF period, taking into account their reduced budgets. For some, it has meant that various posts will not be filled, additional cost-cutting measures must be implemented, and programs to address operational inefficiencies must be concluded, while others have noted that some projects will have to be rolled out over a longer period of time. Departments will also, as far as possible, hold meetings virtually so as to reduce the cost of traveling, while others indicated that they will place greater emphasis on efficiency savings or will reduce internal training programs. Departments will place more emphasis on implementing efficient business processes to ensure that quality services continue to be rendered to our communities. A finance lekgotla was held in early February to look at the impact of these budget amendments and to deliberate on a number of strategies to be implemented to render quality services within the fiscal resources we have. These strategies will be elaborated on when the MECs table their budget speeches. Regarding the amendments to the conditional grant allocation by National Treasury, the second highest portion of our funding is allocated by the National Treasury in the form of conditional grants. These funds are allocated to us to fund specific government programs, and the allocations are made in line with the Division of Revenue Act. National Treasury advised that fiscal consolidation budget cuts are also being made against the conditional grant allocation, mainly towards addressing the country's debt burden and towards ensuring fiscal sustainability. National Treasury also revised some of the conditional grant allocations downwards to free up funding in order to be able to fund the carry-through costs of the 2023 wage agreement allocated to the social sector as explained. Some reductions are also made against the conditional grant allocation to support a national decision to continue with the presidential employment stimulus package. KwaZulu-Natal's conditional grant allocation increases by 501.3 million rands in 2024-2025 financial year, and then reduced, it's going to be reduced by 989.3 million in 2025-2026 and by 593.5 million rands in 2026-2027 financial year. Quite a number of conditional grants show marginal adjustments to their budgets, with only the more pertinent amendments discussed here. The Ilima Litima Projects Grant under the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development is cut by 24.7 million rands in the year 2024-2025 due to National Treasury reprioritizing these funds towards the presidential employment stimulus package. The grant amounts to 55.4 million rands after taking this amendment into account. In aggregate, the province receives 141.4 million rands through the EPWP conditional grants aimed at increasing job creation in the province. The EPWP integrated grant for provinces and the social sector EPWP incentive grant for provinces are reduced in 2024-2025 due to National Treasury reprioritizing these funds towards the presidential employment stimulus, and these grants were cut by 42 million rands and 29 million rands respectively against various votes. The education infrastructure grant increases by 58.1 million rands in 2024-2025. And this grant is incentive-based, and the increase is partly due to the incentive allocation where the department scored really well, achieving 98% in terms of submitting planning documentation and showing capacity to spend, and thus received an incentive allocation of 89 million rands. This was offset by consolidation budget cuts. The budget for this grant is 2.4 billion rands after these amendments. And then the National School Nutrition Program grant receives an increase of 19 million rands in 2024-2025 financial year to continue with the provision of nutritious meals. The budget for 2024-2025 financial year after the increase is therefore amounting to 2.2 billion rands. The health facility revitalization grant is increased by 31.1 million rands in 2024-2025 financial year. The addition is because the grant is incentive-based again, and because the department scored really well at 99%. Yeah, it deserves acclamation. And in terms of submission, planning documentations, and showing capacity to spend, and was allocated 72.9 million rands. This is offset by fiscal consolidation, and the budget for this grant is 105 billion rands in 2024-2025 financial year. Well done, colleagues. We are very proud of both of you, Department of Education and Department of Health. Then the Provincial Roads Management Grant sees a significant increase of 691.8 million rands in 2024-2025 financial year, and is used for the maintenance and rehabilitation of provincial road network, as well as repairs to infrastructure damaged by floods. The budget for this grant is 3.2 billion rands after this increase, and shows our commitment to improving the provincial road network. The Human Settlements Development Grant decreases significantly by 268.7 million rands in 2024-2025 financial year. As indicated, National Treasury reduced the budget against this grant in order to be able to provide funds to the social sector for the 2023 wage bill carried through course. This budget cut is carried through over the MTF period. The budget for this grant is in 2024-2025 is 2.5 billion rands after the budget cut. Similarly, the Informal Settlements Upgrading Partnership Grant also had a large budget cut of 228.6 million rands in 2024-2025 financial year, in line with National Treasury's decision to source funds through reprioritization to provide funds to the social sector for the 2023 wage agreement carried through costs. The budget cut is carried through over the MTF period, and the budget for 2024-2025 financial year after the budget cut is 597.1 million rands. Therefore, funding from provincial cash resources and suspension of funds, colleagues, we are indicating here that a few allocations are also made in this budget from our own provincial cash resources, as well as through the movement of funds between votes. These are as follows. Vote 6, Provincial Treasury, will receive 7.7 million rands over the MTF period, 2.6 million per annum, towards the cost of upgrading the biometric access control system to strengthen its security and ransomware features. This control system is used by all departments when accessing bars, and the improvement will lower the risk of unauthorized access to the system. KwaZulu-Natal is the only province who has this additional layer of control and has therefore obliterated the opportunity for unauthorized access to our system. Vote 10, Sport, Arts and Culture, receives an amount of 4.1 million rands in 2024-2025 financial year for the construction of a monument in honor of the 1860 arrival of the indentured laborers. These funds were recalled into the Provincial Revenue Fund a number of years ago when this project was showing little progress. The department reports that they anticipate that this project will be completed in 2024-2025 financial year after gaining significant momentum in 2023-2024 financial year. The department has indicated that the monument is in the process of being erected alongside the Ushaka Marine Promenade in Durban. The project commenced in 2023-2024 and is anticipated to take 7 to 8 months to complete. Vote 12, Transport. Transport requested that 3 million rands be suspended from their vote in 2024-2025 for allocation to vote for economic development, tourism, and environmental affairs with respect to sourcing an airport emergency fire and rescue vehicle for the Margate Airport. This relates to the ongoing collaboration between these two departments to ensure the successful operation of the provincial regional airports. Honorable members, let us now unpack the provincial budget. The provincial budget is allocated to 14 votes for spending as shown in Table 2, and the votes use these funds in rolling out various national and provincial priorities. This table shows the amounts allocated to each vote for spending in the year 2024-2025, and each vote's share of the total provincial budget. Vote 1, Office of the Premier, an allocated amount of 784,153,000 rands will have to be implemented through various programs that will be elaborated on by the Honorable Premier when she presents his own budget speech. And that totals to 0.5% of our budget. Provincial legislature, an amount of 782,115 rands is allocated. For agriculture and rural development, 2,608,385,000 rands is allocated. For the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, 3,459,828,000 rands is allocated. For the Department of Education, vote 5, 62,988,588,000 rands is allocated. For Provincial Treasury, 680,901,000 rands is allocated. For the Department of Health, 53,796,892,000 rands. For the Department of Human Settlements, 3,529,676,000 rands is allocated. For community safety and liaison, 243,343,000 rands is allocated. For the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, 1,537,422,000 rands is allocated. For vote 11, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, an amount of 1,850,066,000 rands is allocated. For the Department of Transport, 13,023,631,000 is allocated. For Social Development Department, 3,411,555,000 rands is allocated. And for the Department of Public Works, 1,791,546,000 rands is allocated. So the total amount for the budget that we are presenting today is 150 billion rands, 488 million rands, and 101,000 rands. The priorities set out in the MTF period adopted by the 6th administration have been our guiding light over the past 5 years. These, together with the provincial priorities that were developed and are in synergy with the national priorities, have determined our service delivery imperatives. The main aim of these continue to be the reduction in poverty and inequality through creating jobs, providing a meaningful and adequate social service with the main aim of providing a better life for all. Yonke iminyango kahulumeni lapha esifundazweni sakithi saKwaZulu-Natal iyacelwa ukuthi ekulungiseleleni isabelo zimali sakulonyaka kufanele iveze kusoqhulwini lwezinto abazozenza ukuhambisana nokuseqhulwini kuhulumeni wesifundazwe. Okuseqhulwini KwaZulu-Natal ilokho okulandelayo: building a capable, ethical and developmental state, economic transformation and job creation, education, skills and health, consolidating the social wage through reliable and quality basic services, spatial integration, human settlements and local government, social cohesion and safe communities, and a better Africa and the world. I will not go through all what is reflected there because MECs will have to elaborate when they present their own budget speeches. Analysis of the budget by sector, we are reflecting on the fact that through that figure 1, we show that the bulk of provincial budget is allocated to the social sector departments, namely Department of Education and the Department of Health. KwaZulu-Natal's infrastructure budget, the total infrastructure budget over the MTF period is 17.1 billion rands, 17.3 billion rands and 17.4 billion rands, showing our ongoing commitment to prioritizing infrastructure development. A detailed list of infrastructure projects that will be implemented is contained in the estimates of capital expenditure document that I've already tabled in this House. Honorable Speaker, the Department of regarding the Department of Transport, the types of infrastructure projects rolled out by these departments include maintenance and upgrade of roads. I won't elaborate on that. Kuningi kakhulu esingakubala kule minyaka engamashumi amathathu enkululeko. Kodwa ongqongqoshe bazochaza kabanzi uma sebethula izabelo zimali zeminyango yabo abaphathiswa. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, may I indicate that the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, once said, and I quote, "We want to renew our vows with our people. We want to reconnect with our people. We want to get our people excited again." I close quotes. As we present this provincial budget, we wish to state that the work of managing the provincial fiscus has been undertaken with extreme dexterity since 2009, when the province was in overdrive. To date, sterling work has been done to ensure that KwaZulu-Natal is an embodiment of resplendent financial governance and that it stays cash positive. We are committed to the renewal of our vows to grow KwaZulu-Natal together and to reconnect with the people of this province. Furthermore, in his State of the Nation address on the 8th of February 2024, President Ramaphosa highlighted various areas that we are proud of, including the significant progress on measures taken to grow the economy, to create jobs and to reduce poverty, to continue to position our economy to grow and to compete in a fast-changing world, to support small businesses and to give young people economic opportunities. The President did indicate that the government will continue to work in order to improve the country's fiscal position and hold a firm and sound macroeconomic trajectory. This is evident in the budget we are tabling today. In her State of the Province address, our Honorable Premier, Ms. Dube-Ncube, indicated the importance of ensuring that our provincial government is ethical, sound, financial discipline, and prudent in efficient governance processes. Honorable Speaker, more focus will be directed towards agriculture and tourism as they have constantly proven to be the key economic drivers of our province, with a significant job multiplier for every rand invested. Mining industry in our province should also be supported in order to explore more opportunities within the industry. Kubalulekile ukuthi nathi njengesifundazwe sibambe iqhaza ukukhulisa umkhakha wezimayini. Sinezimbiwa phansi eziningi esifundazweni sakithi ezifana ne-coal, titanium, lithium, gold, lime, and manganese, and many, many more. In our continued drive to grow our economy and to create job opportunities, the cannabis and hemp sector remains key and holds a significant potential to secure investment in order to support the sustainable rural livelihoods. This is now even more important after the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill has gone through the process of both the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. It is just waiting for the President's signature in order for it to be enacted into law. Honorable members, we remain focused on the priorities we have set for ourselves in terms of the MTEF and in the provincial priorities that are aligned to this framework. We will continue to work tirelessly for the people of KwaZulu-Natal through economic opportunities, job creation, and poverty alleviation. Honorable Speaker, let me express my greatest appreciation for the support that I have enjoyed from the leadership and membership of our movement, the African National Congress. Please also allow me to express my gratitude to the members of the provincial legislature, in particular, the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Finance, Mr. Xulu, and Honorable Xulu, and members of the Finance Portfolio Committee, as well as the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Oversight, Honorable Madlala, and members of STARCOV. Most importantly, I wish to express my humble gratitude to our Honorable Premier, Nomusa Dube, our leader in the Provincial Executive Council, the leader of government business, Honorable Duma, my colleagues and comrades in the Executive Council. Thank you so much for your unwavering support. I really thank you, all of you, honorable members of this august house. And let me also thank all the heads of departments and chief financial officers for the work they have done in preparing this budget. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the Minister of Finance, Honorable Godongwana, and National Treasury officials for the guidance and technical support during our preparation for tabling the budget. My gratitude also goes to the Minister's Committee on Budget for the sounding advice during our preparation. I would also like to thank my Treasury team, led by HOD Carol Kuti, for putting together the budget documentation I'm tabling today. I'm very proud of this team and their tireless dedication to the job at hand. Lastly, Madam Speaker, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude to my family, Umama Umajili, Mlambo, my children, Nonzwakazi, who is seated up there, Steve, Gonyeni, and Stabile, and many, many children from my family. Some are children from my Mlambo side, others from Gonyeni side. I thank all of you for your unwavering support during my term. Let me also mention my grandchildren. I remember I was seated there when Dondo was born as the speaker of the provincial legislature. You know, it was very difficult for me even to complete that session because I had to rush to hospital. Today, Dondo is 11 years old. That's why I am a proud gogo, grandparent. Yes. The other one is Noto and Kosnami. Lastly, Madam Speaker, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude to everyone, the people of the province of KwaZulu-Natal who have been supporting me and supporting all of us in this legislation. Thank you very much. Siyabonga kakhulu bantabam. Thank you.
Order. Order. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. Honorable Numalo, Honorable Kaluza, Honorable Numalo, Honorable Kaluza. Honorable Kaluza, Honorable Numalo, your members. Thank you, honorable members. I am sure I allowed the MEC more time, probably because of what I heard about vote 2. Thank you, Honorable MEC Mapedla Sisomdala. We have come to the end of the main order of the day. And when we started, we requested that members go to lunch and come back. Now, the Honorable Chairperson of Finance has brought it to my attention that we have finished with more than an hour earlier. And so that we do not arrest members unnecessarily, that we immediately, cognizant that even your lunch has to be prepared on the side in terms of time, we immediately request the members to go, when we adjourn, straight to the briefing, so that when you finish the briefing, more probably you'll use that hour and then you go to the lunch that you should be going on. Thank you so much, honorable members, for your patience and decorum. During the budget, we couldn't have afforded not to hear ukuthi ordinary bashona kanjani. But to the members of the public and the guests of the Honorable MEC and the guests of the legislature at the top there, I am saying this, I have counted, it's been very few times that I have to say this. Thank you for how you have ensured that you also do not contribute to any disturbances in the sittings. You have been marvelous guests. Thank you so much. And we also want to thank the members of the Fourth Estate up there. I have seen you doing your work nicely and quietly without any interference with our proceedings. Thank you so much for what you have done. Otherwise, the House is adjourned.
Order, Madam Speaker.